Alright, hey guys, I'm back. Welcome back to the channel. I know I haven't posted a video in a while. Hopefully I can still figure this thing out, but I've got a project for you guys today. It might be a little bit illegal, but I wanted to bring you guys with me, so stay tuned. Like I said, we are back and I have a project here. I've been wanting to do this project for a little bit. I don't know the whole legality on it, so once I show you guys, it'll make a little bit more sense and I'll explain that then. But it is gonna be an embroidery project. We're gonna be using the Bravo that I have behind me. It's already turned on, everything's set up on the computer. We are ready to go. So let me get you guys turned around here and I'll show you guys the entire setup and what we're working with today. Okay, so basically this is everything that I think I'm gonna need for the project. I do want to bring you guys along because I haven't done this before. If I do make any mistakes, you can learn from them. But in the meantime, I'm going to walk and talk you guys through everything. So starting on this side, we are going to be using this hoodie as a base. It's a very heavyweight hoodie. This is a Champion XL hoodie. I don't know the model number off the top of my head. If I remember it, if I remember to, I'll put that down here at the bottom if you are interested in getting it. It's a really nice hoodie. I like it. On top of it is my wallet. And this is because for this project, I do, it's getting a little empty there, but I do plan on doing an applique dollar on the chest there using some gold metallic thread as a border across it. This is something I've wanted to do for a little bit. I don't know if it's legal or not. If it is illegal because of the whole tampering with money, this is a fake dollar. If it's not illegal, who cares? But that's kind of the idea that we're doing today. To adhere that on, obviously we're gonna have the embroidered border, but to kind of make it a little bit more secure because I'm worried with this being paper, as it cuts through, this might not stay on for a long time. I'm going to more or less attach it permanently with this heat and bond soft stretch material. I've never used this one. The one I use is somewhere under there, which is a little bit more heavy duty. It's a little bit stiffer. This one, I believe, requires some steam or whatnot. We'll kind of walk through this when we get to that point. So that's why I have the iron next to me. I'm not going to be using the heat press like I normally would. This is just going to make it a little bit more simple. Next to that, of course, I have my Hoop Master, my Mighty Hoop system that's going to allow me to hoop everything a lot easier. I'm going to be using my 9 by 8 inch Mighty Hoop, and I already have the bottom in. I have the top over here, and that is going to be on top of my stabilizer, which for this project, I'm just going to be using 2 sheets of tearaway stabilizer. It is kind of like a midway. I think it's like 1.8 ounce each. But my thought is the adhesive and the stitching is going to hold the dollar on. So to allow it to be flexible and everything still, I'm not going to actually use cutaway. Normally I would recommend cutaway. For applique, we're going to kind of play with it. You sometimes do, sometimes don't need it. We'll see. Regardless, this is going to be the entire setup. So let me throw you guys on the tripod. I'm going to do a couple things to get that in the placement that I want it to be, mark it down, get everything set up, and then we'll run it over to the machine. First thing I'm going to want to do here for this project is lay out kind of where I want my dollar to sit. Now this doesn't have to be perfect. The main thing is to get generally where I want it. So when I'm hooping it, I know it's in the hoop, and when I get it over to the machine, I know where to start the design as well. Typically for a lot of designs, I like to go 3-4 fingers down from the collar. That would put it right about there. I am going to bump it down just a little bit, maybe about an extra inch from that. Just kind of bring it down because it is such a thin design, and then I'm just going to mark it with a piece of tape. Now this doesn't have to be perfect because when we throw it onto the Mighty Hoop system, we'll be able to straighten everything out and get everything straightened before we hoop it up. So this is just kind of a loose marker to know where I want the top of my design to be. So with that, let me move the camera again and we'll go ahead and get this hooped up. All right, so I have my stabilizer here, hoodie set up, ready to go. I just need to get everything going. I have the bottom hoop in already. This is 15 inch by 15 inch stabilizer. The reason I carry this is because it's gonna fit almost all applications up to my 11 by 13. It is a bit wasteful because there is a lot of excess that I won't be using, but for now, this should be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and lock those top arms down. For the bottom, I do have to fold it a bit, but then I can lock that down as well with the magnets, and we are good to go. The way I kind of center everything, I like to go from the center of the neck and then also checking the pockets. The problem is sometimes these pockets are sewn on crooked, especially with cheaper hoodies and stuff like that. I'm gonna assume this one's not too bad, but another way I like to check is to use my fingers and then go around back, basically trying to find this sleeve seam here and gauge that it's going to be pretty even on both sides. So I'm happy with how this is, making sure that my design area is inside the hoop. It doesn't have to be centered. We can adjust that when we get to the machine. As long as that's inside, we are good to go. Before we take this over to the machine, there are a couple things I do need to get done. First, the most important one is going to be preparing the dollar. I need to get the heat and bond on the back side of this. So that's gonna be a very important step. But I do wanna show you guys the file. This is gonna be one of the faux marrow edges because I want it to look really nice. This was made by Jeff Fuller, by Fuller Embroidery Works. I'll put all the information in the description below. This isn't sponsored or anything, just really appreciate his designs and really appreciate him making this for me. He does have a bunch of pre-made ones on his website, but for this project, I did need one specifically the size of $1. And when it's sewing out, I'll show you guys how nice it is. If you guys have seen my previous patch videos, you guys know this gives a fantastic outcome with embroidery. You don't need to buy a marrow machine or anything like that. And the last thing I need to do is get this thread on there. The thread I'm gonna be using, this is from Madeira. I love using Madeira thread. This is their FS one. It is a metallic gold, which really shines, looks really, really nice. So I hope it gives it some good contrast on the project that we're doing here. I do need to get one of these swapped out, put this on here. But one thing I wanted to mention is if you are running metallic threads and you're having issues, because a lot of times they're chunky or they're like, they have a core and then there's some metallic on the outside, try their FS stuff. It runs really, really smooth. I've run it full speed. Never really had any issues with it, so definitely would recommend it. I'm gonna get all this stuff set up. Like I said, I need to do that, I need to do dollar, but once I get that set up, I'll bring you guys back and we will just go ahead and start doing the applique. I'm not gonna be using the heat press. I do have my iron here. We have it at the highest temperature per the instructions, and pretty much I'm just gonna be using this silicone sheet just to get everything set up. Basically what I have going on here, this dollar, I made sure to get all the corners because you know sometimes the corners can fold in and get annoying, whatever. So made sure it is flat and square. So we got a nice dollar bill going on there. And then next thing is I have the heat and bond adhesive, just a little sheet the size that I need. This side has the bumps and the back side has the paper. We're gonna wanna put the bump side down. The instructions say to hit it for 5 seconds until it's fully adhered and then let it cool. I'm gonna do that and maybe just kind of get that down there. So I think this is good to go. I'm gonna let this cool here for a little bit. I unplugged the iron. We do need this later after this is appliqued on. We do need to add some steam to it. So we'll hit this with some steam per the instructions. But once this is cool, I'm gonna peel it off, get the paper off, and this will be ready to throw on the machine. It looks like it is good to go. It is a little stiff, so hopefully that later step when we steam it softens that up a bit. But other than that, it should be good to go. All right, so I forgot to record that, but basically this is the first step of this file is going to give you an outline that's going to show you where you want to place your item, whether it's the fabric or in this case the dollar. Of course, this was made for the size of $1, so it fits there perfectly. Thank you, Jeff, you killed it. Next thing we want to do, I've already peeled off that paper on the back. There are some frills on the edge. I'm not too concerned about that. But next thing we're going to want to do is place this here. The next step of this file is going to be the tack down stitch, where it's just going to go ahead and do a kind of zigzag loose one all the way around to hold that into place before it does the final border stitch. If you do have extra fabric, say if you are doing like an applique with fabric or something, you can lay down a full piece of fabric there, not having it to be the exact size. And then when it does that tack down stitch, after it's tacked down, stop it before the final stitch out, cut the excess fabric away, and then you can do the final stitch out. So in this case, the dollar is the exact size. I don't need to trim it or anything, so I'm just gonna let this file run out. I will know I'm gonna hold this with my hand as this is stitching out, obviously being very, very careful where my hand placement is so I don't get hit by this little nasty needle because it will mess your finger up. Don't do this if you don't have to, use tape or whatever. For my sake, I'm gonna hold it down with my fingers. We're gonna be very, very careful, not lose any fingers, not go to the hospital tonight, but let's go ahead and get this finished. So there we go. That's the design. That is pretty much what I had in mind. And I really like how that gold turned out. Definitely add some good contrast for the blue and the dollar bill. So let's go ahead and get this out. What do you guys think? Once we get this all cleaned up, we will take it back over there, finalize it by ironing it again and steaming it once more like the instruction says. Hopefully it makes it a lot softer, good to wear. But honestly, yeah, I mean, I do see a bunch of holes. I don't think this would hold over time if we didn't use the heat and bond, so that's why we're using it. Let's go ahead and clean this up. We are back over on the heat press. Again, not using the heat press, rather, we're just using it as a kind of ironing board. I've got my iron here. It is ready to go. Did add water because we are going to need to steam it. I've never used this for steam, so that's going to be something fun we can try and figure out. But dollar's on there. It is ripping on the sides a little bit here because I was wrinkling it when we pulled it off the hoop. I'm not sure. I don't want the ink on this to like wear off or anything, so I do have just another piece of fabric I've cut out, so when I steam it, the steam should be able to get through, the heat should be able to get through. It is just going to not be directly on there. And it looks like, whoo, looks like the steam's working. All right, let's call that good. I'm gonna pull it off the heat press so it can kind of air out and cool down, but I think that's good. I don't see the edges coming up as much anymore. I'm gonna let this cool off like I said, then we'll throw it on and hopefully it holds up. But I'm gonna call that maybe a successful project depending on how long this lasts. I don't really expect this to last for too long. I just hope it lasts for a little bit because this is a really nice hoodie and I don't wanna waste $1. So I'll be back when this is cooled down. Here we go, here's the final results. I think it's on there good. Of course, I'm not gonna know until I wear it and wash it a couple times, but I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick wardrobe change, throw the hoodie on, and kind of see how it looks on me. So give me 2 seconds for that. All right, there we go, guys. That is the final results here. Let me know what you guys think. This is exactly where I want it to be. I thought it came out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it, but I want to hear your guys' opinion on it. Would you guys do this? Would you guys wear it? Let me know. Would you guys do more money or maybe different countries' money? This is a US dollar, of course, but there's so many different countries out there. Let me know your thoughts. I'm happy with it. I would have done more, but I'm kind of poor, so I could only spare $1. I don't want to put more money on there and I actually have to spend it for something. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys found this entertaining or at least maybe a little bit educational. We tried a different process, used some different materials. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Either way, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.